Now, the right to education is a basic human right as declared in Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention on the Rights of the Child. January the 24th is celebrated in this regard as the International Day of Education as established by the United Nations General Assembly. According to the UN, around 244 million children and young people globally are not receiving education, while illiterate children amount to 617 million. The right to education must be upheld for all the societies to accomplish equality and prosper. In Nigeria, the government and international partners are calling for collaborative efforts to address the problem. Just recently, Nigeria's Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, warned that the country could be consumed by the out-of-school children menace if not tackled.
Well, for more on the International Day of Education, we're being joined by the UNICEF country representative in Nigeria, Christian Munduate. Welcome to Daybreak. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, today is the International Day of Education, and the theme, AI and Education, Human Agency in an Automated World. Now, what are the concerns and opportunities this presents to basic education in Nigeria?
Yes, thank you. I would like to start with the opportunities. So the country has around 110 million children, and if the right decisions are made, the correct investments and the proper implementation in terms of quality education, and of course focusing on building skills in digital capacities, there is a huge opportunity to have young people driving the digital economy in the country. So I think this is the major opportunity that should be addressed. But in terms of challenges, of course, there are many. One concern, focusing ourselves on what, for example, artificial intelligence can bring is misinformation for children and young adolescents, and of course, threats. So that is why it is important to have a proper legal framework and policies to address this. So while we embrace digitalization and artificial intelligence, we should be very careful in terms of having all the necessary framework for this to happen in an effective, efficient manner to benefit the most number of children. Other challenges are related to the capacity to respond to the huge number of children who need education in the country. So investments are needed in terms of infrastructures, equipment, access to telecoms, and definitely capacitating and building the knowledge of children. So, and through the teachers, so we need to invest in teachers as well, so that we can advance rapidly.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Christian. If I'm not mistaken, you have just returned from Zamfara, where you were speaking about the needs of children concerning their rights around nutrition, and that tie in today as well with education. And I was wondering, what specific strategies does UNICEF recommend to address these issues, and how can they be sustained or expanded for long-term sustenance?
So you mentioned nutrition. I think nutrition is the best, good nutrition, the best start in life. And because today is the Education Day, I will just make a short intervention on nutrition. But we do have a chronic emergency in terms of severe acute malnourished children, and on the other side, on chronic malnutrition, mainly on children under 5 years. This needs to be addressed. It is not, of course, it's in terms of severe acute malnutrition, is a life-saving response. In terms of chronic malnutrition, it is about improving the nutrition of children to make they have the right size and the right weight. But the very, very important thing in both types of malnutrition is the damage that it's made to the brains and therefore to the intellectual capacity of children. This will work against learning and to have the opportunity to go through education as any other child in other contexts and settings would do. In terms of education, and these are numbers recognized officially, the country still has 10 million children out of school at primary level and 8 million children / adolescents in secondary school. So this brings a huge pressure because we also need to consider that on a yearly basis, 8 newborns the country has. So 8 new babies are coming in the country, are being delivered by their mothers, and this means that social services should increase at the same pace. And this is one of the challenges that the governments at all levels, federal and state level, have. How to make a proper planning in terms to response with the gap that actually exists, but also including the increasing births and therefore demands, in this case in education, as soon as they reach the primary school age and early school age.
Thank you. So I'd like to ask a question also, going off of what you've just spoken about, particularly because you spoke in Zamfara about what we're seeing in the northeast and northwestern regions of the country, but also very recently we've had a minister come on Arise and say that the children in the Almajiri system should not be considered out of school. I want to know what your thoughts are on that, particularly when we're talking about the social welfare and malnutrition of children, and also just particularly in context of the federal government's 2024 to 2027 education roadmap. How do you believe that is faring currently?
Well, first we want to applaud the decision of the minister to address the education in Almajiri centers known as Quranic schools. It would be fantastic if there is a decision, I don't know if legal or a policy, where all the Almajiri Quranic schools can have basic and formal education in their centers, in their schools, meaning children need to learn to write, to read, to understand what they're reading, what they're writing, and also to develop the numerical skills. So I think it is a great opportunity, and we, as UNICEF, we have expressed our support to provide technical support in this. As a matter of fact, in some states, we are working already with some of the Almajiri centers and Quranic schools.
Well, thank you to our guest today, UNICEF Country Representative in Nigeria, Christian Munduate, as we commemorate the International Day of Education. Well,